hotel rooms at $3,000 a night, flights that cost more than a used car, and millions of soccer fans simply staying home. The 2026 FIFA World Cup was supposed to be a once-in-a-generation economic windfall for the United States. Instead, sticker shock is emptying stadiums, crushing hotel occupancy rates, and sending airline revenue forecasts into a nosedive. If you own travel ETFs, hotel stocks, or S&P 500 index funds, you need to hear this right now. In this video, you'll discover exactly how World Cup price inflation is hitting U.S. hospitality and airline sectors, which publicly traded companies and ETFs are most exposed, what the Federal Reserve's interest rate environment has to do with all of it, and most importantly, what smart investors should be watching and doing right now. Stay with us until the end, because the last section will surprise you. Let's start with the numbers, because they tell a brutal story. FIFA projected that the 2026 World Cup, co-hosted across 16 cities in the United States, Canada, and Mexico, would generate an estimated $5 billion in direct economic output for the U.S. alone. Analysts at Oxford Economics backed that up, forecasting a tourism surge that would add meaningfully to GDP in host cities like New York, Los Angeles, Dallas, and Miami. The logic was simple: 48 teams, 104 matches, billions of global soccer fans, and America as the stage. What could go wrong? Pricing. Pricing is what went wrong. Average nightly hotel rates in World Cup host cities are running between $900 and $3,200 per night for match weekends. That is 3 to 5 times normal peak season rates. Round-trip transatlantic flights from Europe and South America, the two largest fan bases outside North America, are averaging between $1,800 and $2,800 per person. Add match tickets, which are ranging from $100 for group stage seats to over $2,500 for knockout rounds, and a family of 4 from Brazil or Germany is looking at a trip cost north of $15,000. For many fans, that math simply does not work. The result? Demand destruction. And demand destruction has consequences for investors. Now let's talk about which sectors and stocks are taking the hit. The hospitality sector was supposed to be the clearest winner. Companies like Marriott International, Hilton Worldwide, and Hyatt had all flagged the World Cup as a material revenue catalyst in their 2025 investor presentations. But here is the catch: when prices are set too high and rooms sit empty, revenue per available room, the metric Wall Street watches most closely for hotels, actually falls. Early booking data from STR, the hospitality analytics firm, shows that several host city markets are running 12 to 18% below their own projected occupancy targets for World Cup match weeks. That is not a small miss. That is a signal. On the airline side, the picture is equally complicated. Delta Airlines, United Airlines, and American Airlines all benefit from international long-haul demand spikes tied to global events. But with European and South American fans priced out of travel, those premium transatlantic routes are filling slower than projected. Delta's investor relations team noted in their most recent earnings commentary that event-driven demand was below initial estimates for the summer quarter. United has made similar, carefully worded acknowledgments. Airlines are not in crisis, but they are not delivering the upside that the market priced in 12 months ago. The S&P 500 exposure here is broader than most retail investors realize. The S&P 500 has significant weighting in consumer discretionary and industrials, two sectors that include hotel REITs, airline operators, and travel booking platforms. The Invesco Dynamic Leisure and Entertainment ETF, ticker PEJ, and the U.S. Global Jets ETF, ticker JETS, are two of the most direct instruments tracking this theme. Both have underperformed the broader S&P 500 year-to-date, with JETS down roughly 8% versus the index's flat to slightly positive performance over the same period. Now here is where the Federal Reserve enters the picture, and this is the layer most financial media is missing entirely. Interest rates are not just a monetary policy tool, they are the invisible hand behind consumer spending decisions. With the Federal Reserve holding the federal funds rate at elevated levels, currently in the 5.25 to 5.50% target range, the cost of carrying credit card debt, personal loans, and financing a large discretionary purchase like an international trip has become genuinely painful for middle-income consumers globally. European households are facing their own rate pressures from the ECB. Brazilian consumers are dealing with a weakened real against the dollar. The interest rate environment set in Washington is amplifying the pricing problem set by FIFA and host city hotels. These forces are compounding each other, and that compounding effect is what is keeping fans in their living rooms and out of American hotel beds. Smart investors need to watch 3 things heading into the back half of the World Cup cycle. First, monitor RevPAR data, revenue per available room, from Marriott and Hilton's next earnings calls. A miss on that metric in host city markets will likely trigger analyst downgrades. Second, watch the JETS ETF for any technical breakdown below its 200-day moving average, which would signal institutional sellers are exiting. Third, keep an eye on Federal Reserve meeting minutes for any signals of rate cuts, because even a single 25 basis point cut could reignite consumer spending confidence and partially rescue the back half of the tournament's economic impact. One rate signal from the Fed can move markets faster than any FIFA press release. This video is for educational purposes only and is not financial advice. Always consult a licensed financial advisor before making any investment decisions. The World Cup was sold to investors as a guaranteed economic home run. The reality is messier, more interesting, and far more instructive. Price gouging has a ceiling, consumer tolerance has a limit, and the stock market, as always, is paying very close attention. If you found this analysis valuable, hit the like button right now. It genuinely helps this channel reach more people who need this information. Subscribe to YieldWire so you never miss a data-driven breakdown like this one. And check the description below. We've linked our recommended brokerage and ETF screener tools so you can act on what you've just learned. The next video drops in 48 hours. You won't want to miss it.